Dena Tollefson, and welcome to my studio. I'm so glad to have you with me today. So I'm going to be working today. Whoops, I'm going to get paint on my fingers here. I'm going to be working on putting the finishing touches on this new lily painting that I did. I started it, well, probably about a month ago. I did an underpainting, and then roughly 2 weeks ago, I put the texture on in a live stream. This painting is called Ultramarine Lilies. And I'm excited to have you here with me today. So I'm just going to be mixing up some paint and putting those final touches on. And if you can join me here, I would be delighted to have you here if you can join me in the chat. And if not, if you want to just listen, that works too. So I've got some colors. I'll go through the colors today. I'm going to click on my computer here so I can see if anybody is chatting. I see that some of you are there. And hi Miranda, and hey Chrissy. So it's great to have you guys there, and I'm so pleased that you're here. So the colors today are titanium white and turquoise. Then this color I mixed up. I used the white and the turquoise with a little bit of this yellow ochre. Then we've got cadmium red, cad orange, permanent alizarin crimson. The super dark one back here is dioxazine purple, and then a primary yellow, and then phthalo turquoise, or no, not phthalo turquoise, phthalo blue red shade, French ultramarine blue, and then the yellow I mixed up with some of our titanium white and the primary yellow. So I'm going to look over at the painting. So somebody, and if you guys can hear Romeo over there, do you guys hear Romeo? Everyone say hi to Romeo. He's singing up a storm there. That's great. He's the gray one, and then Groche is the yellow one. Yeah, Romeo is singing. He knows we're doing a live stream. I love it. It's great. Well, hey, Dana. Okay, it's great to see you. Yeah, he really is singing. Okay, so this knife, Dana, you know, I use this darn knife so often that it's well loved. So this, it says, oh, I'm going to turn it into the light here, J15. So it's a low Cornell J15. And then here are the other knives that are here. So this is a Blick 57. And then down over here, I have this one. This is just a teeny tiny little guy. This is a RGM size 1, but look at that tiny little blade on this guy. He is just tiny, tiny, tiny. Yeah, he really is singing. Romeo's delighted. I was in Florida visiting my parents, and so I think Romeo says, you know, where have you been? How come you haven't been doing any live streams? I think Romeo misses it, right? All right, so I'm just basically making a little scoop shovel here. Oh, hey, Davey. Great to see you, and thank you for saying that. Yeah, I've got kind of I'll say like a paintbrush obsession and a knife obsession. So yeah, Dana, isn't that a great shape? This long, kind of thin, super thin. You see next to my finger, you see what a really big difference there is between my finger and the size of the knife. But yeah, I've got a whole trove here, Davey. Look at these there. Let me get my knives over here into the good light so you guys can see it. But basically, I got it. And I don't have all of them here. I have some of them in my other part of the studio, but I've got two kinds of spoons. This is the, for when I'm doing the spoon technique. Robert, hey Robert, good to see you. And thank you everyone who's joining, and I appreciate all of the likes that you give too, and you guys are so awesome. And Joey and Rachel, hey you guys, good to see you. And I've missed everybody. I was in Florida visiting my mom and dad, and we had a really good time. We played a ton of cards. This is a Blick 71. Played a ton of cards and just had a great time. And then this little guy, so just got a whole variety of different sizes. Let me stick these back. And here I'm just using this for water, just for rinsing off in case the paper towel doesn't get all of the paint off. I'll get these put back in. And this is the painting that I'm working on. So for those of you who joined me for the live stream of Ultramarine Lilies, I had done a painting, and now it's been 2 weeks since that painting was done, and so now I can go ahead and put more texture on top. The marks are dry enough, but not too dry, so I can put marks on top and they will stick and not smear. So that's kind of for me, the magic waiting time is right around 2 weeks if I want to, on these paintings. I always try and do layers whenever possible. Okay, just see what tiny little marks I can make with just this little fella. These little tiny details, so thank you, Chrissy. Yeah, these little tiny details are really nice, like up, see, like from far away, when I hold it really far away. Oh yeah, and Davy's dinosaurs, oh my gosh. Did you guys see his he did this like a helmsman of someone going to the river Styx. Oh, Vinesh, knock knock, hello Vinesh, yo yo yo, hello. Glad to have you. So Davy did this like a helmsman, and it was like this scary, creepy, but like really, again, always really beautiful helmsman. It was a guy that's like going to escort somebody to the river through the river Styx to, I guess, to hell. I guess is where it would be going, right, Davy? So, and hey, yeah, his drawing was fabulous, Chrissy. And Joe, well, thank you for joining us, Joe. And I finally got the joke or understood with Kraken. Joe had made a bear for Chrissy, and she named it Crack-On, like crack on, like to continue on. And I thought it was Kraken, like Kraken, like Davy's scary Kraken that he made. So it was kind of a thing. It's like I was a little slow on the uptake, but I finally got it. But we'll just rinse off in here. But that little bear that Joe made was just absolutely wonderful. I'm going to switch over here. And Vignesh, it's great to see you. It's great to see all of you guys. I missed you all when I was in Florida. And I appreciate that you're here today. Get a mark there. You know, it's wonderful to have good friends. Kraken will be live tomorrow. And then, yeah, and then Chrissy on her Instagram had put a little view of Kraken Joe Legs bear that she made holding a paintbrush on Chrissy's she did this beautiful dove painting, had a purple back, kind of a purpley, orangey background with some pink in it. And hey, Gray, I'm glad to see you. Thank you for joining. And so she had, Chrissy had, if you guys haven't seen this yet, on her Instagram. So she had this this really cute scene where the bear was holding a paintbrush, and he was saying that he was going to fill in. There was like a little area that he was going to work on, which was really neat. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen Chrissy's dove painting yet, it's just really, really beautiful. Yeah, you told Chrissy to be careful Kraken doesn't take credit for her paintings. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, can you imagine? Oh, that's funny. I love it. I love it. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm filling in. And see, now when I'm putting these strokes of paint on now, had I put these on all on the same day and had not waited several weeks in between, then it would be kind of a disaster. It would be a big smeary disaster. So learned over the years of, you know, what marks can be put on or how many can be put on before I need to put in a new set. And Chrissy says she doesn't mind if Kraken the bear takes credit. Oh, that's great. I love it. So it's a super snowy day here today in Iowa. I'm going to just rotate this out past my easel and you guys can take a quick little look Oh my gosh, Davy, I use an unbelievably large amount of paint. I use so much paint that Blick, which is a local, and Joe was asking, do I cover the whole canvas with the strokes? Joe, what I used, I'll say that my first, yeah, look at all that snow. My first set of paintings that I did back, you know, say almost 20 years ago, I did a complete coverage, 100% coverage, where there was no canvas showing in between any of the marks. And what I'm doing now is I've made it so that I like this idea of the three-dimensionality of the canvas peeking through and then the marks on the top. And I want it to be that any little section of the painting would have its own texture and its own interest. But yeah, so Blick, so back to Davy's point about using a lot of paint, Blick started sending me the instructor's catalog, which I think is funny because I am not a painting instructor. I'm just an individual artist. So thank you, Vignesh. Thank you so much for saying that. So Blick started sending this catalog because I think they must have been thinking who possibly could go through such a volume of paint. It would have to be an instructor. Isn't that funny? All right, so let's get this yellow, as Chrissy would say, let's get this yellow whipped into shape, right? Oh my goodness. All right, so we'll go up to the canvas. And I had, when I first worked on this, I had a little passage that had a smear on it. So now that that's dry, I can go back and easily add paint on top of that. There we go. Just these little marks. So all these little fine-tuned things, I feel like I don't want it to go out to a gallery until I have the painting with all the details in the right places. And I think too that my collectors are expecting a certain amount of texture. So if I don't give them enough texture, then the painting won't sell. So Vignesh says, painting in snowy climate will take time to dry. Oh, yeah, no, Vignesh, I've got, I have humidifiers in the house, and then up inside my studio, and then I also have like a air purifier, and then I've got like a system of ventilation and these kind of things. So I try and keep the air moving. So I have not noticed much of a difference between winter and summer. I try and keep my humidity within about 20 points of each other. And, but yeah, it does tend to dry. I have like a drying room also that I keep the paintings that are drying in a drying room to try and keep them away from any air, keep them away from any, you know, like obviously keep them away from Muffin so she doesn't get into them and that kind of thing. So, all right, let's add just a tiny bit of this purple to the yellow ochre that we have. And let's just make kind of a, this is going to make kind of a, now we're going to get hungry here because this looks a little bit like a chocolate almost. A drying room, yeah. I have that so that because the larger works, especially the larger oils, can take 5 to 6 months to dry. And so I like to have them in a really safe and, you know, out of the way area so that they aren't going to be, you know, causing any problems or that type of thing. Do you guys hear Romeo go crazy now? Do you guys have any, oh, Joe, you started a new portrait. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Will you be posting, Joe, will you be posting that on Instagram? And, okay, yeah, so Miranda, the water mincable oils, listen to him go. He can't be stopped. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I'll show you here, here are a couple of the oils here, Miranda. So this is the Artisan water mixable oil, water mincable oil, and that brand, and then I've got the Cobra. I'll grab my Cobra here. Also this Cobra oil. But all the brands, I've got all the colors that you see here. This was a Cobra brand, and the rest of these are the Winsor and Newton. Oh, actually this one was Cobra too. The turquoise is Cobra. So, well, hey, good art. Ruslan, how are you? For those of you who don't know Ruslan, oh my gosh, you would really, if you haven't already checked out Ruslan's work, definitely do that. You are going to post on Instagram. Good, good, good. Yeah, so, and I do order from Blick, and I also, I have a Amazon site. So I'm an Amazon influencer, which means I get, I have a page of recommendations for what art supplies to use. And I do get compensation as an Amazon influencer, but it's of no additional, cost to you. So then Rachel's asking, is the dry time different with the water-based as opposed to the traditional oil? Yeah, Rachel, people do say it's a little bit different. I haven't noticed a huge difference. If anything, they dry maybe a little bit faster, that type of thing. So Miranda, yes, I've got palette knives, brushes, canvas, tube ringers, basically all the frames, all of the kind of art supplies that that people use for acrylic paint, watercoloring, and oil paint. And let me just grab my little thing here. So my site is, and if you go, let me hold this up here. So if you go to amazon.com/shop/Dena_Tollefson, and you have to put the whole thing in that way. If you just go to Amazon and search, then you won't find it. But if you put it in this way, amazon.com/shop/Dena_Tollefson, then you'll see all my recommendations in there, and they're in there by category. So things like palettes, palette knives, oh gosh, these great, like these wave palettes, that type of thing. So yeah, the nice thing is Blick does deliver all over, and then of course Amazon delivers all over too. I actually live pretty close to the Blick headquarters, not that far away, like I don't know, a couple hours away from the Blick headquarters in Galesburg, Illinois. Yeah, okay, so definitely, yeah, check that out if you would, and I would appreciate if you do. Okay, coffee time, Davey, excellent. Now when Davey gets back, we're gonna have to ask if he has a biscuit with, because he always wants to get a biscuit with a shortbread biscuit, I think. I'm gonna guess he's gonna have a shortbread biscuit. Oh, we'll see when he comes back, we'll ask. So, does anybody have a request of what we might, so Romeo is there, I think he's waiting for a request. Does anybody have a song that I might be able to whistle at him, and we'll see if we can activate him. So if you have ideas, then let me know. And yes, you can, Christy, that's right, absolutely. Yeah, acrylic you have to put additives in if you want to make it super thick. And the oil, what's really great about the oil is that you just use it, you know, straight from the tube like I'm doing here, which is super convenient. Yeah, it's a lot of mixing, that's right. Yeah, that's true. All right, so now I'm going to take a little bit, I'm going to take actually some of this French ultramarine blue, and let's grab some of our white. Come here, guy. We have to wrestle him out there. There we go. Okay, when will you capture the painting for prints and sharing on social media when it's completely dry? Vignesh, what I usually do is I'll usually wait until it's probably about a week or so before I'm ready to let it go, because I've found what happens is if I post it too soon or I do something like that, then one of the galleries that represents me, or you know, a client of one of the galleries, they might contact the gallery and then say, oh, I want this painting. And a lot of times people don't have they don't want to wait. It's hard to wait 5 to 6 months, that kind of thing. So usually what I'll do is I'll just wait till it gets closer, and then go ahead and photograph it. There's one other thing too, is that the oil paint, when it dries, it will dry with an even little bit brighter shine. Yeah, and Chrissy, yeah, the heavy bodied, I use that too. I use the, absolutely, I use the, Golden is one of my favorite brands. So the, I found the trick, Vignesh, is just to kind of wait until it gets a little closer, and then go ahead and then I'll post it, or do, you know, do something like that. Yep, Windsor and Newton, Chrissy, exactly. But if you guys have a song that you want me to try and go with Romeo, let me know. We'll see if we can get him to do a whistle. It's got to be kind of an easier song though, because I'm not known for my singing or whistling. Okay, we'll get a little mark here, but it's just basically I'm doing a process of building up the layers, and then as I'm putting it in, I'm looking to kind of create complexity within this shape. So I have a overall C-shaped composition. So the lily pads, the flowers, and then the dark elements are forming a C shape. And then a fine time to leave me, Lucille. Oh my gosh. And wheels on the bus. Okay. All right. We'll do both. Okay. We'll do wheels on the bus first. Okay. Oh. Do you guys hear him? Oh my gosh. There it goes. There he goes. Do you hear Romeo go? Okay, and so Miranda, you were talking about 200 ml tubes. Yeah, I'm using 200 ml tubes for most of my colors. And then for just some small little specialty colors, I'll get the little, 37 ml, that kind of thing, tubes. Listen to Romeo go. He is repeating. Yeah, that's Romeo for you. You know what? I'm going to walk over. Let's walk over and see Romeo. Let's just go do a quick hello to Romeo. Well, hey, you two. Okay, now we're going to try Lucille. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. Okay, my husband will love that because he likes to sing that song. Now, Groche is the one that's the yellow one. This is Groche, and then Romeo is the gold-colored one. Then this little thing here, Romeo goes into this little yellow home. And then, but so Romeo feels shy. Well, he doesn't seem like he's shy, but he seems a little shy. He won't sing when we're up really close, but he will sing when I get further away. So let's see. Well, I am cramping his style. That's right. Oh, that's funny. All right, yeah, I'm cramping your style. I'm back over here. I'm back by the easel, Romeo. And now he can sing. Now. Oh my goodness, yeah. Okay, so those two they're both cockatiels, and that's an Australian bird. So that's like Joe, right? Joe, aren't you from Australia? I thought you were. Okay, let's get a mark right in here. And I'm kind of liking the variation. So this, the titanium white plus the French ultramarine blue, Makes kind of a wonderful cornflower blue, which I think contrasts well with all the greens that we have going here. Yeah, Romeo is shy. He is, you know, he seems like he's aggressive, but he actually is quite shy, Vignesh. I agree. He's a sensitive bird. But he did go to Wheels on the Bus. He seemed to like that song. All right, let's get a mark right here. So I'll say that although this movie came out so long ago, my husband and I finally watched Castaway. And you guys, I'm sure you guys have seen Castaway, you know, with Tom Hanks. But we watched it right before I went on the trip. And I had a bad dream afterwards, after he went and crashed. Periwinkle, yeah, it is like a periwinkle. Wilson, yeah, with that thing Wilson, oh my gosh. But that was a really good movie. To say Tom Hanks is, boy, he's very, very, very talented. And I had heard, yeah, and I had heard everybody always talked about Castaway, and then I had never watched it. And it's like, oh my gosh, why have we not ever watched this show? It's so good. Yes, he is such a good actor. And they were running some kind of a special, one of these things where they'll say, oh, we'll have this actor, and then we'll show several shows from this actor. So they had the Green Mile also. So we watched that one, and that was maybe, I don't know, like a month ago. And then when they had, and then we had done the TiVo for Castaway. Let's get a mark right over here. There we go. So this color is, this is Phthalo Blue Red Shot, yeah. Oh, and Green Mile. Oh my gosh, that was so good. But it was kind of scary in parts. The parts where, and I did not like the part about the electrocutions. That was hard to watch, so I would leave the room, and then my husband had seen it before, and so then he would tell me I should leave the room or come back. And so you had asked, okay, there was a question about, so Miranda, you had asked, do you use oil if you want them thinner or water? Okay, so what I'll do when I'm signing my name, so I signed my name here in oil, and what I did was I added, I used a liner brush, and then I added linseed oil. And there's, when you buy your water mixable oils or water mincable oils, you want to be sure to buy the mediums, and I have those also out on my Amazon site. But you want to add the medium that goes with the type of oil you're using. So if you're using a traditional oil, be sure to get the, you know, standard traditional sand oil or linseed oil, that type of thing. If you're using the water mixable, then you want to use the one that's compatible with that. And you can want to get it down to the consistency of like a ink, kind of an inky consistency. And then it'll flow really, really nicely with your brush. Now what I'll also do is I will also just dip the, yeah, so Chrissy uses linseed oil and walnut oil. Yeah, walnut oil is another great one. So I'm using Duo, D-U-O brand of linseed oil, and I also have, there's a Winsor & Newton one that I like too. And what you can do then is you can also just dip your brush in water, and that will also, the key is to not add too much water because you want it to be fully archival. You want that to not disturb the paint integrity, just in the same way that with acrylic paint, if you're going to really have something watered down, you want to either use the fluid acrylic, or you would want to add a medium to it. You don't want to get it like completely watered down because you want to keep the integrity of the acrylic. There we go. Get a couple of marks here. Okay, now let's do and I'm going to wipe this off here. And do I varnish? Well, when I, Miranda, when I do these paintings, these don't require any varnish. But yeah, underbinding if too much water is used. Yeah, absolutely, Chrissy, and that's the danger with that. So if you just are really careful with it, you know, either acrylic painting or oil when you add any kind of liquid to it. So yeah, I do not varnish any of these paintings. The painting will just dry, you know, as it is here. It will just dry, and it'll be just fine. And the shine that you see is just because I don't go back and change the what do you call it? I don't go in and I don't touch it. So once a daub or a mark is on there, I actually don't touch it again. And by not touching it, yeah, and there's no need for varnish. When I just leave it as it is, then the shine just stays just as it was originally. So I'm just taking now a little of the cad orange and some of the primary yellow. And I'm going to add just a little touch of white. So thank you so much, Davy. And Davy, now that you are back with your coffee, I had a guess that you were going to have a shortbread biscuit with that. And is that true, yes or no? Or did you switch? Or is it maybe you had like, what is it, barbecue potato chips was the other thing? Because I guess it's no longer tea time in England. So it would probably be maybe it's a chip thing. So if it's a flat work, Miranda, I won't even do, you have a hobnob. Oh, you got a hobnob biscuit. Yeah, right. So Miranda, I don't even tend to varnish even my acrylics or my oils. I'll just tend to leave them as they are. Shortbread and a slice of toast. Okay, well, there we go. So we were ready with our question. And Miranda, what you can do, some people will do, you know what, and I put this mark here, I think it's too light, so I'm gonna go in and darken that up. Let me add a little bit more of the orange to darken that up. So yeah, you can. What's nice about varnish is that it will leave an even color everywhere. Sometimes if you have certain oil paint will look more dry in its color and it won't dry evenly. And then also what's nice is varnishing on acrylic. It does seal it nicely. It doesn't require it, but it can be done. The real danger of varnish would be is if you do it too soon. So if you have any kind of moisture and the paint is not super dry, then the danger with that is now it can create wetness underneath. Yes, and if that's right, Chrissy. Yeah, and that's an excellent point. Chrissy knows her stuff, I tell you. That's our Chrissy. Excellent, Chrissy. Thank you, thank you. Perfect point. Yeah, and so the thing with the varnish, the other thing is that the varnish, you have to go like outside with it, and you have to do it on a still day, and you take all your paintings out that you want to varnish. And oh, no. Thank you, Chrissy. Yeah. I love it, Chrissy. Chrissy, I depend on you. I want you to, yeah. Keep talking. Yeah. That's good. So the thing with varnish is that you've got to go outside with it. You've been varnishing your acrylics. Yeah, and it's just, it does leave a pretty color on it, like a nice shine. The one thing is that you do have to go like outside to do it, and you have to do it when it's, when there's no wind, and then make sure you don't get any grass or anything else. Spray is the best. It's peachy. Oh, Joe. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Here we go with the peachy. Yeah, it is a peachy color. I will never live down that peachy thing, will I? Oh, my goodness. You guys are funny. Peachy? Yes. Now, you know what? If Ian Jackson were here, he would now be talking about a blob, wouldn't he? Wouldn't he be? He would mention a blob at some point. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so Miranda says that you use the spray and you wait for it to dry. Yeah, and that's a great way to do it. I have, yeah, Ian. Now, I have not actually tried ever the brush on type. I've only ever used the spray. Have any of you guys ever tried the brush on? If you have, please weigh in. So Chrissy's saying that she uses if she's ever varnishing, she would use the spray. And I've only ever used the spray. And Miranda, you're saying that you use the spray one? The shine and the vibrancy. Yeah, you know, it does. One thing about varnishes, it absolutely does bring up the color. And so a fellow friend, a fellow artist of mine, Stan Wiederspan, he used to own Wiederspan Gallery. He will do multiple. Do you do, Miranda, when you're varnishing yours, are you doing, and Chrissy's used the brush, but it's not very good for acrylics. Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking too. But when you guys are doing yours, are you putting on like multiple thin coats or one thin coat when you do it? Because I know Stan said that he would always do at least 2 thin coats. Okay, and so you're taking them out and you photograph before the varnish. And okay, and hugs to you, Joe, and thank you for stopping by. 2 to 3 light coats. Okay, yeah, see, that's like what Stan would do. That seems to be kind of the consensus. When I had done varnishing, I felt like I wasn't very good at varnishing I don't know what it was. Maybe I didn't do enough of it or whatever, but it's been a couple years since I varnished an acrylic. And then back in the day, I used to do varnishing on when I did thinly painted oils, I would do that. So I guess that's the way it goes, right? Okay, we're gonna get a mark right up in here. Just a little guy. Let's see if it's still snowing here. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you gotta protect that, your lung cells, absolutely. Because that stuff can kind of be nasty. You can also wear, I know you can wear like a respirator also, or like a mask. That's another thing. I don't know if anybody does that. So write in if you guys wear masks or if you just hold your breath. I would usually just hold my breath when I did it. That's probably not the best way. In retrospect, it would probably have been better to, you know, go ahead and use let's get some of this white off here. Oh, thank you for saying that, Davy. Thank you very much. So that passage there, thank you for saying that. Yeah, I try and keep that like really thinly painted. And then that way the contrast between the heavily textured impasto and this thin area. And Miranda, yeah, the light coats, and then you hold your breath and run. Yeah, that sounds like me. All right, so let's mix up color. Now what I'm going to do is, because this turquoise and orange are opposites on the color wheel, let's grab a little bit of this orange here, and let's mix up a gray color. And this is going to be kind of a warm gray because the turquoise has a lot of green in it. That paint has naturally a lot of green. Let's put in a little bit more of the orange. Okay, and Vignesh says, about acrylic varnishing, when you are painting the main canvas, paint a rough canvas for the same time, and you have a low spray. Okay. Oh. Hey, Vignesh, that's a good point. That's excellent. And then wear a mask. Yeah, okay. See, that's why I love it when you guys weigh in, because I was doing the not so healthy way of like spray and run. And so Miranda, these guys, listen to these guys. They've got the better safety precaution going here. That's the way. Between Chrissy, Davy, and Vignesh, they've got it. They've got what you should be using and for a varnish, and then what precautions to take. Because yeah, we only have one set of lungs, and we certainly don't want to ever have to be in the situation where we get a transplant or have problems with the breathing. So that's super important. Yes, I appreciate it. And you guys, I love it that we are all, we are all friends and we all are, we can all share laughter and fun and also share art tips. So it's a good thing. Let's get this. So I love this little tool here, this tiny little guy. And you should know better. See, there you go, Miranda. Is it a thing that that the nurses and the doctors they take a chance? I think that's so funny. Miranda, you crack me up. All right, we'll get a little mark there. Yeah, bless you, exactly, Mercy. Let's get one right up here. Do as I say, not as I do. That's right. And then what is that? Take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning. There we go. All right. Now I need to, let me get this guy wiped off. Mondo. Hey, Mando, how are you? Hey, Mando, I just finished watching your Queen of Hearts video that you put together, the video compilation. I really enjoyed that. Did you guys see, if you haven't already, did you see Mando had done a challenge where she asked people to do the Queen of Hearts? And then, yeah, it was cool. It was very neat. And then, but just to see the huge variety of what different artists came up with for what they thought the Queen of Hearts was in their mind. And I was just, it was fascinating for me to see. I mean, some people had, there were scary ones, there were more like comic ones, some were done in graphite, some were done digitally. It was really, really neat. Oh, and thank you, Chrissy. Thank you for saying that. I do appreciate, I really appreciate all the likes that you guys give. And Mando says you have so much fun, and then, yeah, and you didn't, I noticed that. I was wondering, where was Mando's? And then Vignesh, I guess that's true, Vignesh. And then nobody can really see if it's an internal thing the doctor's doing. Nobody can really see it, but they can see their own work, right? All right, let's see. Let me get one right over there. Yes, Miranda on YouTube, Mando, and I hope I'm gonna say it properly, Tesseria. Tesseria. Doctor, I think I'm a dog. Doctor says, get on the couch. Man says, I am not allowed on the couch. Oh, Davy. Oh my goodness. And thank you, Mando. You guys are so nice. Davy. Oh, that's funny. Oh my gosh. That's great. There we go. Oh, nothing better than a good laugh, right? A good laugh on a Sunday. Because the world can be so serious, and we need a little levity. There we go. All right, let's get a little mark maybe right over here. Thank you so much, Mando. I appreciate that. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm zooming in on myself. Every day is Sunday for artists. It is, Vignesh. That's right. Exactly. So I'm just like zooming in and I'm thinking about the experience of the painting. Thank you for saying that. What I'm working on is the experience of the painting when somebody, when the person who owns the painting will come up and will look right up on the canvas. When they do that, I want them to be able to have a variety of textures and colors to look at. And then, oh, thank you so much, Miranda. Thank you. So then the idea then too is that from far away that the painting is going to look like something representational. So let's see here what I need to, I'm going to add a few of dark marks in here. And I'm going to take some of this yellow ochre. Let's take some more of the purple. This is the dioxazine purple. You guys are funny. All right, and then this looks kind of like chocolate, doesn't it? This looks a little chocolatey. I'm getting hungry here in the afternoon. This looks like peanut butter and chocolate. Those look like, do you guys have, I know in the States, a big popular one is, love that purple. Yes, I do too. I love that, Miranda, because it gives this dioxazine purple can really sub for black. But in the States, we have these things called Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Yeah, I do too. There's something really special. If I add a little bit of white to this, let me just add a little puddle of white here. Let's grab a little of the white. It really can make some wonderful kind of a mauve color. Let's just add a little white now and look at that color. But the, it's 2:30 in the morning, Vignesh. Oh. Yeah, and it's the afternoon here. But we have these things called Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. And they are so delicious. There's something really, I don't know if you guys have those where you live, where you all live. Write in and tell me if you have this. It's like a peanut butter, it's like a little muffin cup of, so thank you, Davy. Thank you so much for saying that. And I'm working now to get a lot of neutrals in there. I want to have many neutral colors. You licked the screen. Oh, Vignesh. Oh, you're so funny. We're making you hungry with all this talk of food. So the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, I like to have those every day if I can. You have them in Toda. You have them in Germany, but you're allergic to peanuts. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Toda. Because I'm sorry to hear you're allergic to peanuts. But in Germany, you guys have, so my father is a German immigrant. And my Oma kommt aus Deutschland. Mein Vati kommt aus Deutschland also. But anyway, I know in Germany, you guys have some delicious chocolates, like hazelnut chocolate. And you've got the pralines and all kinds of different, there's these one things, I want to call them, I think they call them Mozart balls. You ate Reese's eggs after you had your son. Yeah, see, these things are addictive. I think they put something in them that makes us all crave them. Let's get a little mark right here. So this color, this kind of very neutral color, was made with a yellow ochre, and yellow ochre really is just yellow plus black. Ja, ich kann sprechen ein bisschen, nicht genug, aber ein bisschen. And my father will listen to that later. My son, so yeah, okay, so my child John took German in high school and then also in college, and he had a minor in it. And also he took Japanese, so he's engineering, but took also Japanese, Spanish, and German. All right, so now let me grab I'm going to make just a little bit with this red. I need to get a few red marks on here, but I'm going to modify the red a little bit. I'm going to add, let's add a tiny bit of the purple and a little bit of white. Okay, yes, Mando, good eye, it is. This is the painting that I started about a month ago, Ultramarine Lilies Part 1, and then the oil dried enough that I could do Part 2, which was about 2 weeks ago. And then, hey Brickyard, thank you so much, Brickyard. And so, Mando, then what's happened now is it's been about 2 weeks, and I was gone in Florida visiting my folks. and this is just now the perfect time to add other layers. So I can, between now and, you know, whenever, they can be added on. But I want to try and do it, I have to wait till the marks are dry enough. Otherwise what will happen is I'll get a smearing effect. And smearing is bad. So, so I'm working to do now a variety of colors and a variety of textures, just to add the feeling about, like in a pond, there's never just one color, and when the wind blows, then you get these little ripple effects on the water, and there are always so many different kinds of insects, and there's so many different kinds of life forms in a pond. And it's what I'm trying to do is use color to express the idea of the different life forms, insects and fishes. I'll tell you what we've got out here. I'm going to just swing my camera, and then, so thank you for saying that. Yeah, okay, right, okay, so the way the light dances on ripples in the water, so I'm gonna swing the camera over and then just show you right out this view that you see out here. If you can just kind of see out there through that window, that's a 2-acre pond out there. And so Mr. Otter is out there. And then, it's fat over lean is the rule for oil, which means that if you are adding any additives, like any kind of oil, or if you started, let's say you started with turpentine, that's lean. Now I don't use turpentine, but what you would be doing is the idea is that the paint that has the most oil content sits on the top, is the fat over lean principle. And so, for example, if you're signing your name in using and adding linseed oil, for example, to the paint to thin it down before you put your signature on, then you would be making your paint fatter because it has more oil in it. So that's part of an example of the fat over lean idea. Get a little mark there. There we go. But Mr. Otter is out there. Mr. River Otter, PB&J Otter. We named him after the cartoon from the 90s. And the pond is frozen, and all the wild turkeys are walking across it. But the one thing that's going on now is that Otter is going in and he's doing ice fishing, because we have a aeration hole where there's an aeration thing. Mr. Otter's in your studio. Oh, and yeah, Chrissy did a fantastic painting of her otter that she did. It was awesome. You did a sea otter. I did a sea otter. It was really great. All right, so let's get this wiped off. And thank you so much for saying that. An otter or a seal, oh dear. Yes, he was definitely, there's no doubt, he was absolutely definitely a seal. No, an otter. He was an otter. He was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Oh yeah, it did freeze up. It froze up over here too. Hopefully it will come right back. All right, so let's get another mark right here. I'm refresh. Let's see if we can refresh here. There we go. And another mark here. we go. And thank you so much for all of your likes and for all of the fun conversation. You guys have been awesome. I appreciate you. Hey, Art Life, great to see you. And you know what? I'm just going to plug this guy. Yes, it's certainly, the buffering's terrible. All right, well, we'll just continue on here. We'll just carry on. All right, you're still here. I appreciate you. Thank you, Chrissy. You can hear, but it's frozen. All right, well, you know what I think I might just do is I think I might just go ahead, and since it is frozen, I think I'm going to go ahead and just end the stream. But I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate everybody. And until next time, all right, love you guys, and